In the readings of today, I see a common theme, which is the theme of fear. So I went to the dictionary, and there are several entries for the word fear. One meaning would be fear, an unpleasant, often strong emotion caused by anticipation or awareness of danger. Another one, anxious concern. Another meaning, reason for alarm. But then there is another meaning, fear, profound reverence and awe, especially toward God. So as you can see that when we talk about fear, really there are two types of fear. There is one that is fear of danger, and then the other one which is fear of God. In the book of wisdom, in the book of the Proverbs that we have in the wisdom books of our Bible that we hear at the first reading today, we hear about the description of the profile of the worthy wife. And after hearing all the good things about this worthy wife, this woman whose price is beyond pearls, we hear the following: charm is deceptive and beauty fleeting. The woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. This is the good fear, is the fear of wonder and awe, is the fear of respect and love towards God. It's fear of the Lord. Then in the second reading, in which St. Paul is writing to the community at Thessalonica, St. Paul is putting the fear of God in his community, especially as they await for the second coming of the Christ. He says, "You yourselves know very well that the day of the Lord will come like a thief. So be ready, be prepared." This is a good fear. It's the fear of wonder and awe. It's a fear of love and expectation for the coming of the Lord. But then in Matthew, the Gospel, we hear another type of fear. Because we hear about this servant that received 1 talent, and when he came forward, he said to the master, "Master, I knew that you were a demanding person, so out of fear, I went off and buried your talent in the ground." Here it is back. Out of fear. Think about that. That man was paralyzed by fear, and in turn his talent produced absolutely nothing. And this is what happens when we let ourselves be paralyzed by fear. I remember in March, when we closed our churches, we did it because we were afraid. We were afraid. We thought that it was going to be for a couple of weeks, didn't we? Because fear paralyzed us. Remember those days when you were wiping with Clorox wipes all your groceries obsessively because we were afraid of the transmission of the virus through surfaces? I remember getting a text message back in March from a parishioner who worked as a healthcare worker, and she had been chosen to do COVID testing. This was way back in March when it was all brand new, and when most of the people that went to get tested certainly were carrying the virus because they were very sick. She asked me to pray for her and for her family because she was afraid. It's fear. She had a right to experience fear. But despite her fear, she didn't bury her talent. And she went to work in the front lines. And this is just one example, of course. There are many. There are many instances actually in the Gospels where we hear the word fear. And most specifically, the combination of words, do not be afraid, or fear not. Here I have a little list. For example, when Mary received the announcement from the angel that she was to conceive Jesus in her womb, the angel said to her, "Do not be afraid, Mary, for you have found favor with God." Actually, when Mary sings her Magnificat, she says, "The Mighty One has done great things for me. Holy is His name. His mercy is from age to age, to those who fear Him." This is the good fear. This is the fear of wonder and awe. Even as Joseph learns that Jesus had been conceived in the womb of Mary, in the Gospel of Matthew we hear that the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream and said to him, "Joseph, son of David, do not be afraid to take Mary, your betrothed, into your home." Remember when Jesus was walking on the waters, as he is approaching his disciples, he said to them, "It is I, do not be afraid." And even when Jesus experienced the transfiguration at the mount, the disciples fell prostrate, were very much afraid. And Jesus came and touched them, saying, "Rise, do not be afraid." And even during his agony, Jesus was experiencing real fear. "Father, if you are willing, take this cup away from me. Still not my will, but yours be done." And to strengthen him, an angel from heaven appeared to him. Jesus was in such a state of fear that he needed the strength of an angel. The Gospel of Luke tells us. He was in such agony that he prayed so fervently that his sweat became like drops of blood falling on the ground. And even at the moment of the resurrection, the angel said to the women in reply, "Do not be afraid. I know that you are seeking Jesus the crucified. He is not here. He has been raised." Perhaps this was the good fear because Jesus had risen from the dead, and in the presence of the majesty of an angel, the ladies were shocked in wonder and awe. It's the fear of the Lord. So really we have two types of fear: fear of danger and fear of the Lord. And maybe during these days we are experiencing both. As we experience real fear during these times of pandemic, perhaps we need to ask the Lord to help us to transform our fears, to transform our fear from fear of danger to fear of the Lord. Or like the song says, "Be not afraid, I go before you always. Come, follow me.